Very hairy shaft.
Great way to start it. Welcome back to CasualBiasRugby. Six Nations, round 5. We've got 2 Southerners with 1 Northerner. So, I mean, I don't know what to expect really from this one. But anyway, Jake, welcome back. How are you feeling? Round 5, England, possibly the opportunity to actually go and win it. Obviously, it's not in their hands. But how are you feeling going into this final round?
Well, good. Who doesn't want to win the Six Nations Trophy in the Principality Stadium? You know, you have lots of happy Welsh fans watching England lift the trophy. So, yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Aiden, you feeling a bit more of a spring in your step after some of your predictions could come into fruition over here? How you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to count my chickens before they roost or whatever the saying is, you know. England's still got to beat Wales, and obviously I'm out here ripping the Welsh merchandise, so it's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't think England will lift it in the Principality because they still have to wait for France to play. So I don't know where they're going to take the trophy because obviously they try and present it after the game. You'd imagine they'll take it to Paris. But yeah, exciting games. I'm interested to see the lineups for a few of the games too, especially Ireland. Who are they going to play at 10 against Italy? Yeah, just exciting matches. Anything could happen.
Yeah, fair enough. And I actually want to start off with the Wales versus England game because obviously we've got an English representative over here. The English squad announcement came out earlier today, even though this will only be posted tomorrow morning. But before we get into that, people, if you do like just talking a bit of shit when it comes to rugby and you enjoy your Six Nations, hit that like and subscribe button. Go to Jake and Aiden's TikTok and YouTube channels to subscribe and follow them on there as well. No, we're just having little discussions as fans. And if you want to join in, come into the comment section. It's open, free speech. So if you say some wild shit, Aiden especially likes going into the comments and talking some shit with you there as well. So yeah, anyway, let's start off. Wales versus England. And the big talking point, obviously, with the English lineup that's come out today. Jake, we brought it up. We spoke about it a bit last night. Tommy Freeman in that 13 jersey. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I was saying, I literally just recorded a video of myself talking about the lineup. It's really strange because...
Can you stop self-promoting?
No, but it's it's really strange though because like why would you move Daly to 13 and then this time you move Freeman? Like what? There's no consistency there. Why would you not just start with Freeman? I don't know. I was saying, is it because of Dingwall's playing 12 again and they want to test the 12, the sort of chemistry between them? Do they just see Freeman as a potential 13 option long term?
I think it's more towards that, towards seeing the Freeman. Maybe for in the long run, if they don't see things working out with Slade moving Lawrence back into 12 and then maybe going for Freeman 13, I think it's more of a long-term thing because obviously, how old is Tommy Freeman now?
23, 24 maybe?
Yeah, see, so if they can see a future for him at 13, why not just test it out? I'm guessing you're feeling confident going into this game. What I like is there's not too many changes. Right, so the system will still flow as per normal, and then just see him playing at 13. It's always a different story, and you see it a lot with the Springboks, where it's like wholesale changes, and then I'm like, well, what's the point? Because they're not going to play with those combinations again. Obviously, Dingwall's not always going to be the 12, but if it works with him at 12 and Ollie Lawrence at 13, and then you have the option of Ollie Lawrence or Dingwall with Freeman at 13, that could be sexy as well.
Well, it's interesting because they've also got Henry Slade in the squad, who was the starter, and then Oscar Beard, who plays for Harlequins, who's looking pretty exciting, and they just called up this Ajomo, who's Bath's Ollie Lawrence's teammate. So lots of like centre options in the squad, yet they've chosen to move Freeman, their sort of starting winger, to 13. So it's interesting.
Yeah, the bench interesting though. George Ford on it, and then obviously massive moment for Henry Pollock as well, who's been playing some sensational rugby. Aiden, what's your thoughts on seeing those two names specifically?
Yeah, I mean, Henry Pollock's been really impressive at club level. Obviously, he came on most memorably against Munster when Northampton played Munster and had an outstanding performance in the last 20 minutes. You know, big game player, making those big game moves, getting crucial turnovers. Obviously, he's been playing in the under-20s, I believe, for England and playing well as well. So, you know, he's an exciting talent. He's someone you want to get in the squad as early as you can. Off the bench is perfect, gives him a bit of time. Hopefully, I'm interested to see whether England continue the play style they had against Italy. And so if they go quite a few points up, you can obviously bring him on a little earlier, sort of throw him in the deep end a little bit and just sort of see how he goes. I think he'll handle it pretty well. Who was the other one, sorry, that you said got added?
George Ford.
Oh, George Ford, that's right. 3 10s. It's interesting because does it sort of speak to the fact that Borthwick is going to want to play Smith at 15 more often with Ford on the bench, because having realistically 3 10s in your squad, I guess you could take Finn Smith out and put Ford in off the bench onto 10. Obviously, Marcus Smith can go to 10, but if you've got Ford on the bench, to me, it looks like he'll want to do a direct swap with Finn Smith. And so Marcus Smith stays at 15, because I don't really think the other two play much of 15. I don't think Ford does, and I haven't seen Finn Smith play 15. So, yeah, interesting to see how Borthwick's, you know, planning to go ahead, and how does that look when Furbank comes back as well. So there's a lot of questions at the moment and not many answers.
Could we see a situation where maybe Ford comes on for Finn Smith? We see maybe Marcus Smith even moving into like centers or something, and then Elliot Daly taking that fullback role. I don't know. Like, it just popped into my head when I was looking at the team now.
I mean, Ford's been a part of that 10-12 double distributor role with Owen Farrell, obviously, and so they could move back into that. Jake loves that. They could move back into that sort of system. Ideally, you'd want your largest player at 12. So from the three of them, I imagine Finn Smith's probably the biggest of the three. So you have Ford come into.
And he's small as well.
Yeah, but he's quite physical.
He's a good tackler.
He's a very good tackler. He's quite a physical 10. Shades of Wilkinson with how he tackles. So putting him at 12, put Ford at 10, and then you can move Daly back to 15 if Marcus Smith comes off or if Dingwall comes off. So there's options there, and I'd be interested to see how someone like Finn Smith goes at 12. But yeah, as you said, so many options at the moment. It's the tough part is picking one and making it routine.
Yeah, the reason that I brought up the George Ford situation is, like, do we think Borthwick has selected George Ford for if it comes down to a nail-biting game, that he wants to secure boots, someone that controls a kicking game? Do we feel that Borthwick has kind of made this decision based around, I'm going to try the attacking game, but then if it doesn't work out, we're just going back into our shell, trying to play the territory game, Jake? What's your expectation going into this game? Do you think you'll stick with attacking running rugby, or do you think as soon as George Ford comes on, that game switches up again?
Well, I was going to say they've got Tom Roebuck on the wing with Daly and Freeman at 13. Now, these are three guys who are really good in the air. And Wales have been shocking in the air this tournament. It's lost them games against Italy and Scotland. So I would imagine there's quite a few more high balls this game, sadly, for England and neutral fans who want to see exciting rugby. But so yeah, I'd imagine it's not so as exciting and running as last week. About George Ford, I have no idea. I have no idea why he's playing. I still think he's a great player and will have future games for England, but I don't see why in this game against Wales you wouldn't try and give some game time to another potential person in the back line.
Yeah, it's also interesting, like you said, they're going to have someone to kick at post if it gets close. Why would you not let Finn Smith kick his, as Rose's foot fetish came out yesterday? She loves his boot and how accurate it is. So, like, he's excellent off the tee. So even if Ford did come on and Finn Smith was still playing, I don't think you'd give Ford the kicking duties unless Finn Smith was having a shocker.
Yeah. He's also hit some drop goals in the Premiership, Champions Cup, Premiership finals. So he also has that in his locker as well. Sorry, Casual.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, what the thought process was around having Ford on the bench, right? Because he doesn't necessarily fit the mold or the system that you want to play in terms of how you played last weekend against Italy. Well, at least from what I've seen. So I don't know. It was kind of just a confusing one for me. But let's talk from a Welsh perspective. I mean, what do they want out of this game? Another nitty-gritty one to say, like, okay, last week was the one-off performance instead of the one-off performance being against Ireland. Like, somehow they'll always pitch up against England. I think every team wants to pitch up against England. I can't think of a single team that doesn't want to beat England. Like, it's kind of just that team. Do we reckon they pitch up?
I just want to say we got another World Cup final this weekend for one of the teams. Now Wales. I saw a video saying, "Would you rather never beat England again or never win the Six Nations again?" And more of them said, "Never win the Six Nations again as long as we beat England." So, of course, they'll always get up against England at Principality. But what's the question?
No, I just asked, like, will they be up for the game? Do you reckon they'll put up a good fight? Do you think they'll put up an 80-minute performance, even though England might still win the game? Do you reckon the actual Welsh team of old will see this rivalry and say, listen, we need to win this one? Aidan, you're wearing the Welsh scarf. Are you backing the boys?
It's tough because obviously for my prediction, I need England to win, but, I'd love to see Wales get a win. But I think the thing for Wales, regardless win or lose, comparing to their last few performances, they'll just want an 80-minute performance. They've looked good in patches of multiple games. They've just been, either poor in the first 30 minutes against Scotland. They sort of let it slip a little bit in the last 10 minutes against Ireland. So it's just about getting that performance that we've seen in them from those games and just dragging that across the full 80-minute performance. And if they lose at the end of that, and if they're beaten by a better team, so be it. But some of the points that they let in and the tries and the penalties, you got to think it's sort of their own lacking rather than the other teams being too much for them. So I think that's the key area for them, is just putting in a solid performance for the full 80 minutes and let the cards fall where they may.
Yeah, the big thing is just the defensive line. Obviously, they didn't let Ireland play their type of rugby, but then on the other hand, they let Scotland do anything that they wanted to on attack again. So for them, if I was England, I would be looking at that Welsh defense and say, we can really get at them. But if we're going to play the eyeball game, then obviously we bring Wales kind of into the game again. I understand that they're not great under the eyeball, but why not just exploit their defensive fragility, right? Is that even a word? I'm not even sure, right? Yeah. English second language. Can you believe it? Masterclass.
Better than Jake sometimes.
No, but Jake just talks shit. Like, I don't think Jake always knows what he's saying.
Oh, no, I don't think I do.
Yeah.
Jake's just focused
stuff right there on Jake's mouth from all the shit that comes out of it.
What?
Bro, no, that brown stuff is just Elliot Daly's asshole. That's how deep easy to that stuff.
You want to see the nice spot I have here?
No, Jake, seriously. Yesterday you got your feet on camera. Calm down.
Don't bring it up.
You're going to get banned.
Expose me for my bad skincare.
Okay, Jake, what's your official prediction, you little cocky shit?
I don't know. It's always close between England and Wales. Like every Six Nations is close. They beat us in the one World Cup warm-up game Aidan went to. So, I don't know. Like 25-15-ish, maybe. Win for
so you don't get the bonus point.
Oh, we'll get a bonus point. Okay, 35-15 for England. I think we should.
He wants that bonus point. Fair enough. So 20-point win for you.
Yeah, I think we've got too much power in the forwards compared to the Welsh forwards.
Aidan?
Look, I'd love to see Wales win. This one, I feel like I don't have a bad result, because if Wales win, awesome. That's cool. If England win, I'm a genius and my predictions always come true. But no, I think I kind of agree with Jake. The forward pack, mainly up front, the tight five is where England, I think, are much stronger than Wales. The loose forwards, I think, are relatively comparable. Both are really good. But I sort of see England just pulling away with a little bit. Maybe England by 13 is sort of what I see.
Yeah, I've also got England by 12. But I do believe that England will get the bonus point in the end as well. even though they might score like 2 tries after 70 minutes, I do believe England's got it in the bag in terms of getting that 5 points, securing a top 2 spot. Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, who do we want to tackle first? Italy, Ireland, or France, Scotland? You want to take the big one first?
No, I think we should start with the first game.
Okay.
So,
Italy, Ireland, in Rome. Is it in Rome? Yeah. Big thing is, can Italy pull out a performance? All right, because I think it's pretty secure that Ireland get the job done. I don't want to write off Italy, but this kind of feels like Ireland needs to bounce back. They haven't announced their squad yet, right?
no.
Do we reckon this is one of those games where Ireland just like they give themselves the best chance and they win this game by 30 to 40 points, getting all 5 points, and then just saying, okay, well, now we've done our job. Let's just see where the other teams go. Lovely silence. Bro, I just said it that I was hoping for a response. Do we reckon that Ireland comes out and performs?
My screen froze. Apologies. Yeah, I think Ireland come out and perform. I think Italy do the same, though. I feel like they've had a few games where they took control of the right areas, and then they'll be disappointed with the last few games that they've had. I think they were okay against Scotland. They were decent against Wales. Dreadful against France. And then against England, they probably were good for 30 minutes of that game and then sort of fell off in the last 40. But yeah, I think Italy will pitch up, but I just think this Irish team, they'll be hurting because whenever you get thumped at home in front of your home crowd, especially with the stadium feeling like a France game, they'll be out for blood. And I think they'll just be a bit more clinical in the key areas. I think the forwards will really pitch up. And so that's the area I think they'll get the edge over Italy. Be a bit more dominant, quicker ruck speed, faster ball for Gibson Park. I'm interested to see who they pick at 10 because, I mean, Crowley's had no game time this Six Nations.
I think they'll change.
You do?
Yeah, I reckon so. I think all 3 guys that are retiring, because it's their final game, they'll all start as well. Peter O'Mahony and Cian Healy. I wouldn't be surprised if Conor Murray gets a start over Jamison Gibson Park. And if they maybe switch to 9, they'll be like, well, fuck it, why don't we just switch up on the 10 role as well?
I mean, that would be a team, 9-10 pairing of obviously Crowley and Murray. They play together at Munster. So, it's a pairing they'll know well. So, I just think Crowley deserves a bit of game time more than anything at 10 rather than 12 or 15 or wherever he's been playing.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you mentioned that Ireland could come out and they could smash Italy because they're hungry after that loss against France on home soil. But then you go back and you're like, well, we said the same thing about France last season, and they pitched up their next game playing against Scotland and arguably should have lost that game. Do we, Jake, is there any hint of that there could be an upset on the cards?
Yeah, I do think. I don't think they'll win, but I think it could be close because, you're saying like Ireland would be upset, but then Italy will be upset. They've lost 2 games pretty miserably, you'd say, especially in the second half of both of them. So, getting smashed at home last 2 rounds ago, they want to improve at home this round. I feel like the pressure's more off for Italy, maybe. So that
they can still finish last.
No, I don't care. I don't care about that. I think all the pressure's on Ireland this game. And Ireland are in bad form. Ireland are missing a few players. James Lowe, Ringrose, and now I'm assuming James Lowe will still be out. Ringrose is out. A few of their players looked off form. Van der Fleer, Doris, Byrne all looked not their normal selves against France. So
Ringrose will be back. Ringrose should be back.
Ringrose, he won't be back already, will he?
Yeah, 2 games because they included a Leinster game.
Yeah.
Bullshit. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Ringrose will be back in action, either on the bench or starting. But yeah.
I'm more on the side of we'll see a clinical Ireland. I'm not going to sit here and act like all of a sudden this is a bad Irish team that could possibly lose to Italy, for instance. Like, not writing off Italy, but I still backed Ireland to win the Six Nations, obviously, and not getting their bonus points, as kind of just bit them in the arse. But I think that was a very good French performance rather than Ireland just being that shit. Obviously, they weren't really at the races. They do have a couple of injuries and stuff, but not to the degree where it's like, okay, should we worry about Ireland getting a victory over Italy or anything like that? I do believe, as you said, Aidan, that they'll be more clinical. The system will flow nicely. I think they'll send their three boys off nicely with a decent victory. I reckon Ireland's got it in the bag by at least 20 to 25 points, because I believe that Italy could also fall off in that second half. Yeah, but it's always rainy in Europe.
Okay.
No, Ireland it is at least. But
just saying, I looked up the weather because we forgot to do that last time, so it could be lower scoring potentially.
Yeah, I think that if depending on how bad the rain is, Ireland play more quick pop balls than any other team in the Six Nations. So if the weather's bad, tough handling errors. Wow, everyone's frozen. No, we're back. But yeah, I agree. I think Ireland should pull away with it. I'm going to say Ireland by 16 points.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't think the rain will affect them too much because, as you just mentioned, these guys are used to playing in torrential rain. So, yeah, like we saw Italy, Wales even pull it close to Italy in that rainy conditions, and I believe Ireland's a lot better than Wales actually. So, yeah, I'm sticking with that 20 to 25 points. Just because how clinical they are, I think they have a massive upper hand when it comes to the physicality and the bench department. So that's kind of my reasoning on backing that. Jake?
Yeah, well, I think Ireland will win, but I think the gap between Italy and Ireland will be less than it was in the England-Italy scoreline. So, yeah, under 20 points gap, I'm going to say. Maybe even under 15, but hopefully Italy can actually show off what team they are capable of being.
Yeah. Okay. Final game. In the start of France versus Scotland for the Six Nations trophy. Now, if you go on last season, obviously Scotland arguably should have won that game, right? But I reckon France pull out an all-timer game and just like a stamp of authority victory. Like just not even putting it in doubt at all. Like possibly England, Ireland, you got your hopes up, but there you go. It's done and dusted. And they just settle the score and take their bonus points victory, massive victory for France. I just reckon defensively better. Their attack has been sensational. They've been clinical again. Their props, their forwards has been sensational. They're just hitting their groove, and I just don't see any way that the Scots beat this French team, especially if you look at that second half as well against Wales. If you look at that performance against Ireland, if you look at the way that they played against England, I'm not knocking the Scots, but they haven't been great this season, right? So this has got France written all over it at home as well. Tough.
Yeah, I think the key area for Scotland to have realistically any chance to get a win or even to keep it close. I don't want to like dog on Scotland, but the French forwards are huge. Both the ones that start and the ones that come off the bench. We saw what they did to the Irish pack. The Irish pack, I know rugby math doesn't really work. The Irish pack dominated the Scotland pack at Murrayfield this year because the Scottish pack, in terms of size, isn't that big. They're quite dynamic. They're good around the park, and they're decent at the breakdown. But in terms of set piece, size, and power, that there's nothing that compares to that French team in the Six Nations. So they've got to front up massively at scrum time, line-outs, and at the rucks if they want to give their backs an opportunity. Because the Scottish backs are brilliant. If they want to give those backs a chance to compete and try and score points, it's going to be all about the forwards.
Yeah. Jake, are you on the same thing with the Scots having to match up physically? And for me, like, doesn't matter how many points they score, you've got to be defensively organized. Because the French, like, you can score 40 points, but they'll try and score 50. That's just the way that they are.
Well, we've got 24 minutes into this video, and I just feel bad that I'm not also wearing a hat, so I should wear a hat. I've got a hat on here. while we talk about this game. Yeah, I mean, obviously the French forwards are very strong, but
is that a team with Gregory Aldry?
No, this is an upgraded Gregory Aldrich. Thank you. I'm actually more of the John Baptiste Gross sort of shape, but never mind. I think my scrum hat. Oh, never mind. Francois Cross. What was I saying? Kinghorn plays for Toulouse, so like he'll know some of the Toulouse players. Bit of insider information can't harm Scottish chances. I mean, they've been very exciting, Scotland. I think they can cause them quite a lot of issues. They've got like a good record against France in the last 5 years. Obviously, they were sort of robbed last year at Murrayfield. So, yeah, I feel like they might push them for like 50, 60 minutes, and hopefully they will. How great is it, though, that this is the final game of the Six Nations? Like, you don't know who wins until like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the evening.
Do you really not know who wins, though?
Yeah.
But do you really, Jake?
I know you're an idiot, but I mean, I don't know who's going to win. So, no, you don't know.
Yeah, what? Surely you're not. Do you actually reckon that Scotland has an opportunity to upset the French?
Well, yeah, of course I could.
This reeks of the World Cup game between Ireland and Scotland, where it was like Scotland can actually pull it off. If they score 28 points more than Ireland, they could knock out the Springboks, and they got absolutely schooled on every front. I just don't see where Scotland has the upper hand over France in any facet.
Breakdown. I mean, I think Jamie Ritchie, he didn't play against Ireland and Wales in the first game or whatever. Ireland have Italy. But since he's come in against England and Wales, he's been really good. So could get a few breakdown steals there. I don't think the French have been fantastic at the breakdowns particularly. So that's something they could get. Maybe the scrums. I mean, Zander Faison been looking pretty good.
Yeah, but don't you think they'll crumble when it comes to the substitutes? I just think that French guys that they bring off the bench so much stronger and so much more powerful, so much more of an impact than the Scottish one. Like there's a clear drop off when it feels when Scotland's forwards come off the bench, whereas when the French come on, they kind of match each other.
Why are you trying to take my dreams away from me? Just agree that Scotland will beat France and England will win the Six Nations.
Jake, you're always a guy of principle, where it's like you don't let your emotions get involved.
Well, I think France will win. But I mean, it's every reason Scotland can make it close. Like they're a good team. They pushed England pretty close. Who beat France? Like the margin was the same, like 1 point or whatever.
Yeah, but England's shit.
Right, okay. Aidan, talk.
England shit. No, look, you can't discount a team. I'm not going to sit here and say there's no possibility of Scotland winning, but I think it'll be extremely difficult given the matchup. I agree. Off the bench, I think France offers quite a bit more. But time will tell. We could look like idiots this weekend if Scotland pull off an upset and England somehow win the Six Nations after their performances in some of those games. That would be ridiculous. But yeah, who knows? This is why
well, obviously, if the Scots win, do you reckon the Scots even want to win? Because that secures Gregor Townsend's job for another 2 years at least.
Yeah,
like I've seen so many Scots saying Townsend out, that I'm like, well, if you get a massive spanking, the opportunity is there. But if they win, obviously,
well, I mean,
bye.
More people have been saying, do they want to win? Because if Scotland win, England might win the Six Nations. That's like the other thing. They might not want to win.
Oh, imagine they throw the game.
Oh, mate, I'll get a Scottish jersey up here with the England sort of Six Nations trophy next to it, and just, they can dream on. But the Scottish players aren't actually ever going to think that. They just want to win for themselves. They're not going to be thinking about England. But it's funny if the fans are crying.
Oh, well, they think it's funny when you're crying, and you have cried on camera, which is crazy. Anyway, I guess we wrap it up. Jake said he wants to go out and party tonight, so yeah, a little alcoholic over here. Anyway, everyone, please do remember to hit that like and subscribe button. Go to Jake's YouTube and his TikTok. Go spam his comments. telling me it looks a bit stupid or whatever. And go show Aiden some love in his comment section and go hit that follow button. But we appreciate you guys. Please do remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you then for the review, which will be our final. Sad time, might be the final fan forum for a little while. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.